Thank you so much. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to the discussion 3 of the conclave. Today is the day for technology, and we will be having two guests with us today. Will be joining us to talk more about that how innovation and technology is helping, how they are making use of innovation and technology, and have created and worked on their project, which they have very well executed. Um, First, we have Federico with us, and we have our participants with us who have joined. So, Federico, the discussion structure goes like this. Our facilitators make a presentation. After that, we ask our participants or whoever is on the call to ask any questions they want to, and which is followed by the presentation of the other facilitator, and then more discussion with him. So, uh, I would like to introduce you all to Federico Restrepo, who is from Colombia. He is an entrepreneur and social innovator. Federico has traveled to more than 55 countries in all continents with 10 years of experience working on sustainability and youth development. He has developed projects together with the United Nations, Asia Development Bank, African Development Bank, among others. He is a creator of Youth for Global Goals, a global initiative that mobilizes youth to contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals, which in 2 years reached 120 countries, generating more than 10,000 projects led by young people and mobilizing more than 4 lakh people. He's a founder of Energia Vectorial, a startup focused on the decarbonizing mobility by accelerating the adoption of electric vehicles, and of Impact Hub Medellin, which is an innovation laboratory focused in entrepreneurship and sustainability. He currently leads Impact 2030, an incubation and acceleration program for businesses with impact on SDG, selected by the United Nations Foundation as social good connector, along with 12 other people in the world as champion of the SDGs at the local level, and C40 as a founder of Energia Victorial as a high impact entrepreneur for the carbon free streets. Now I would like to invite him to please go ahead with his presentation.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing great, and thanks for having me and inviting me to this space.
I think your volume is a bit low.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me there better? Is it better or is it the same?
Yeah, it's better now.
Perfect. So thanks for inviting me. Let me know. I cannot share my screen. Can you give me permissions?
Sure. Komal, could you give the permission to Federico?
Yes, I can. Cool. So thanks everyone for having me here. As Risha mentioned, I'm Federico Restrepo and I work on sustainability, and I've been working on it for a while. So I just wanted to share a bit of a story on how I'm using technology. So I was able to travel around the world and see a lot of solutions that are happening around. Was able to work with the United Nations in a project to activate young people around the world, and thanks to this, I saw and worked with people with 120 countries, and it was amazing to understand how different cultures and different people actually see issues and how they see that these issues could be solved. And that was, I think, one of the most learning experiences for me, understanding that not everyone around the world see problems the same because they are affected in different ways, but also how they intend or focus on solving those issues, either with the use of high-level technology or the use of community action, and how we could understand and learn a lot of these different things to be implemented in our own countries. So going around, when I came back to Colombia, there was a specific issue that that touched me. So I'm from Medellin, the city of Eternal Spring. And it's called the city of Eternal Spring because the whole year, the average temperature is 24 degrees. The whole year, the whole day is just 24 degrees. So it was called the city of Eternal Spring. But because of climate change, a lot of like the air quality of the city has dropped, and also the temperature now is around 28 degrees. So this started happening, and I started like studying why this was happening, and I found out that the total emissions that happened in cities in developing countries like Colombia, in general South America, most of Asia and Africa, they come from the transport system. That 65 to 90% of the emissions in cities come from the transport system. But when I dig deeper to understand why this was happening, I found out that just 3% of the vehicles in cities are generating up to 90% of the pollutants that we have in the air. So it was a humongous issue that is being generated by a very small portion of the cars that we have in our streets. So, and it was interesting to see, and I used this tool that is called a problem tree in understanding what was the main problem that we were having. In our case, it was air quality, and understanding the consequences of that. So how people get sick because of air pollution, how it affects the lungs, how it affects mental health, how it affects even the competitiveness of a city, because it is harder for cities that are more polluted to attract international talent, because it is not a good place to raise a family, because people cannot do exercise when they are on this, like they cannot run outside because of all these air pollutions. So I used this to understand a lot about the problem and what was happening. And when we saw the different source of emissions, transport system, the industry, and how they were divided. And for example, specifically for Medellin, we found out that 89% of the emissions come from the transport system, and that only 11% come from the industry. And it was very troubling to me because most of the efforts done by the government was in like putting laws and restrictions for the industry, but they were not looking at the big emissions that were happening because of the transport system. So I did this problem tree, which is a very cool methodology to understand where problems come from. And to use it, you just take the main problem and start asking why. So why do we have this air quality? It's because of this, because of this, because of this. And then you ask why again to those things, and you do it 3 to 5 times to understand what is actually, like, where is the problem coming from. So I used this tree and I connected that to the United States and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in understanding the connections among different things. So air pollution is a climate action, is the issue that is connected to climate action. But it doesn't happen in a silo. It happens because of too many different things. And one of those things is, for example, sustainable communities, because most of the emissions come from the cities that we live in. And then I also saw that it is connected to industry innovation, because it depends on how do we produce or how our economy is moving. So I started seeing a whole connection there on the issues that were affecting my city and that were affecting the people around me. And because I saw that there was a connection with this United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, I work on a second tool that is called theory of change. The theory of change is a tool that allows you to understand the impact that you want to make and how you can generate that impact. So the daily actions that from a person perspective or for an organizational perspective you can do to connect to specific deliverables that are going to generate that change in the issue that you want to solve. So I use this theory of change to understand that if transport is the main issue affecting the air quality, we needed to change transport. And in doing so, then I found a way to make money out of it, because I found a solution that could be replicable and that could be profitable while generating an impact. So we found an issue, we understood why that issue was happening, and we created a line of actions that we generate a change on that. And we understood that with some of those actions, we could generate impact and that we could also make money to make it scalable. So we created Energía Vectorial, which is an organization focused on decarbonizing mobility for the world. And we did that mainly because of this person, which is my niece. When I was telling you that air quality was very bad, and I understood that because it was affecting my niece personally, because she was getting very sick in the lungs because of the air quality. And the doctors told us that it happened to every child below the age of 5, because they're going to be growing up with very air, and that's going to be affecting their life for the rest of their days. So we brought a solution. We basically take any car that is in the streets, we take out the engine, we take out the gas tank, and we change it for an electric engine and a battery pack. So when I was showing you guys the problem that we saw, that it was the transport system is generating a lot of emissions, and we check through a theory of change, okay, it is because of the internal combustion engine cars or gas cars that are on the streets, because they are burning diesel, they're burning petrol. So we started finding, okay, so what can we do? We can either change behavior of people to use bicycles or to use public transport, or we can use how they are using their current transport, their cars, to a cleaner technology. And we focus more on the second one, in the cars, because changing behavior is one of the hardest things. And cars here in Latin America are considered a luxury item. So people don't want to buy out of the luxury items. So we focus on this, and we found this engineering solution that by changing the engines of the cars, we could generate zero emissions from these vehicles. And that way, the air quality will improve year by year. And right now, we're focusing on converting 85,000 cars, which will drop the emissions 90% in our city. And this is just to tell you that every problem, when we understand where is it coming from, it's very easy to find a solution. And probably there's a technology that is already out there that we can implement. But it's very important that we understand those problems and how certain actions can be implemented, and how those actions can also generate income to make those models scalable. So that's why my suggestion for all of those that are thinking of becoming entrepreneurs is understanding a problem. For that, use a problem tree. Once you understand very well the problem, connect that with the Sustainable Development Goals to understand how is that impacting at global level, and create a theory of change to understand the causality among your actions and the problem, and the impact that you want to see in the world, and generate a business model around it so you can make money out of it to make it scalable. We don't make money just to become rich. We make money so we can bring the solution to more parts of the world and bring impact for everyone. And that's what we did. Thanks a lot for your attention and your time. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Federico. Anyone who has any questions?
Thank you. If I may ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Federico, your project is amazing, and I have had the opportunity of knowing it, and it's like a dream came true for many. It's not only that you are converting cars into electric ones, but also like giving them the opportunity. Like many people develop like this kind of emotional connection to their vehicles, either if they were inherited by someone special to them, or if they leave something important, like important even with them. So you are giving them the chance of being able to carry with these machines that are important to them. And this is also like not only environmentally, but also emotionally important. Well, with that being said, I think it's really important, the multidisciplinarity in any kind of work, and I'm usually promoting it. But how did multidisciplinarity or intercultural experiences that you had when you were traveling around the world. How did it change you? What were the benefits of knowing many people, their way of thinking, how it changed like your perception? I would love to know that because, well, it is really important to promote that intercultural projects which are also multidisciplinary. So please.
Of course, no, thanks a lot for the question. It's quite complex. I think every solution that we bring to the world has a different implementation path depending on the cultural and societal boundaries of every community, right? So I think when traveling around, it gave me that understanding that whenever we're bringing something new, there's always going to be resistance. And that resistance cannot be fought and cannot be matched with aggressiveness. It needs to be faced with understanding of the other, right? Understanding where the other is coming from. So, for example, as you mentioned, if I have a Volkswagen Beetle from the 60s that was given to me by my dad and was my first car in college, for example, I don't want to give it up because I am not the problem. I'm not the problem for climate change. The problem is the petrol companies. And that person is not 100% wrong, right? Like one car is not going to make a change, but we only need one car to make a change, right? So understanding where that person is coming from is like, I cannot tell that person from a governmental perspective, of political perspective, you cannot use that car anymore. You need to take a bike because you don't know how far he lives. You don't know the connections that we have or anything. But understanding that he has this personal connection and allowing him to keep that connection, but in a way that is better for everyone. I think that's what I got from traveling all around. Is we need to understand where people are coming from and the experiences that have shaped them, to be able to implement whatever solution we want to bring, either if it's a community solution, behavioral solution, or engineering solution. It's about understanding why people act the way they act, because no one acts out of the blue. There's always things that happen in our past that bring us to where we are today. So that international experience, I think it brought a lot of empathy and understanding that not everybody gets to conclusions the same way I do, because they did have different motivators to get there. So I think that would be the main thing for me. And when we talk to a company, it is very different how we talk to them about going electric than the way that we talk to the government or the way that we talk to individual customers, because they are all caring for different things. The profit margins, the air quality, or the personal connection with their cars, just to name a few. And all of those are very different processes to explain, to connect, and to be able to showcase how it be perceived in the future. So people is like, okay, now I understand why I could do this, why I should do this. Let's create a plan to make it happen.
Thank you so much.
No, thanks to you.
I have a question.
Of course. Hi, Samuel. How are you doing?
Yeah, good day. Thank you so much for your wonderful inspiration, and your project is really awesome. And I have some concerns actually. Looking at the outcome of your project, and then looking at the potential and outcome as well in time to come. First of all, my concern is how does it trap CO2? Because cars emit, you're going to change the engine, you're going to work on the engines, but still, how do you intend doing that with cars? And what is the cost of this engine? Is it something that everybody can afford? Looking at this engine and also trying to swap it with cars is not, because okay, let me come to you. Somebody also approached me on LinkedIn on a project not quite similar to this, because yours is mostly on engines. But he approached me, and the name of the organization is Vehicle Management. Yeah, they talk to organizations on driving on ways to zero net carbon their cars and also providing sustainable solution. But yours also talks about engine, which is also what I thought when they told me. I just want to know, how do you intend doing this? Because, touching the engine of vehicles could also impair the functionality of that car, and also could also as well impair some of the features of the car, because engine of every car is the powerhouse of every car. So what mechanism, like, I'm just trying to think out loud, what mechanism, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but I just feel, how do you do this? Looking at the world with over 5 billion people, okay, what is the subsidy rate per engine, per vehicle? How do you reach out to this number? Do government have to subsidize this product for their countries, or citizens can access it directly at a subsidized rate from your company?
So there's a lot of parts to that question. So remember what I mentioned, that just 3% of the vehicles in the streets generate up to 90% of the emissions. So we can focus our solution in a very small portion of vehicles that are out there. Having that in mind, we don't need to scale to reach out 8 billion people. We just need to scale to reach 3% of those people, because it's where the problem is coming from, right? And we mainly need to focus on trucks and buses, which are the ones that generate the most pollution, okay? That way, we just need to work with specific companies and specific governments that are the ones that generate the most pollution. So we're able to make a significant impact in the lives of people by changing to electric mobility. So that's one thing. The second thing is, electric mobility is very expensive for developing countries. The cheapest electric car in Colombia is about $12,000. And from there, they start scaling up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you think of the purchasing power in your country, you probably also think that it's very expensive for the average person, right? So this solution actually, as we're already using the car that the person has, it reduces the cost to electrification to just 35%. So instead of paying $30,000 for a car, you're paying $10,000 for going electric. Actually, our prices start at $6,500, so it becomes cheaper to make them electric. And that's because of two things. Internal combustion engines or gas engines are very complex mechanisms. These engines have more than 100,000 parts, like all these different little things that they have that may fail anytime, right? But because engineering is so potent and we have been doing research so long, these engines actually are quite efficient. But there's a lot of parts in these engines. So we take out the whole engine. We actually just keep I don't know how you call it in English, but you just keep the shields of the car, the doors, this part, and the tree that connects the wheels. And what we do is that the new engine, the electric engine, is connected to the wheels. So we actually keep the least amount of pieces in the car, so we make it safer because there's less things that can go wrong. And the second thing is that electric engines, they have less than 5,000 pieces of parts, which makes it even less likely to fail. That's why when you're in a Tesla, for example, they are less likely to fail because they have less pieces. So what we do is that we take out the whole combustion engine and we put a new engine. So from the engine perspective, we have been converting cars for the last 4 years, and those cars haven't come to the workshop for maintenance. They're working perfectly. And I think that, like, I don't know if it answers the whole question, but from the engineering perspective, the electric engine has been around for 120 years. And there was a moment where there were more electric cars than gas cars. But because of the petrol industry, they started lobbying the government. The research started going into petrol engines or internal combustion engines and not into electric engines and batteries. So it became cheaper to use, cheaper from the finance perspective, but not from the planet Earth perspective, because we are extracting things from Earth and we're generating pollution. When you're working around electric mobility, you're also extracting some minerals from Earth, but you're not generating the same amount of pollution. So in the end, we also need to understand that whatever we're doing, we're part of a complex system that has politics inside. And as there's politics, sometimes these solutions are going to be blocked depending on the interest of the parties or the owners of the big companies. So there's a lot of things to have in mind there. We haven't had any cars that have failed. We actually use a lot of the engineering that Elon Musk has created. We actually converted once a car with batteries and engines from Tesla. So in the end, this is about understanding the best possible solution and the engineering, and that's what we implement there. But it's as any startup, it's also a work in progress.
Okay, so let me also ask the last question. What do you do with the old engines, with the engine from the car you converted? What do you do with it? And then have you recorded any fatality, like since you started this whole stuff? What do you do with the engines?
What do we do with the engines that we take out
of the cars? Yes, of the cars converted. Yeah.
So when the car comes to us and we take out the engine, we send it to foundry. So we recover the metals. Our main focus is that those engines don't go back into the streets, but actually we just recover the metals that can be recovered, and they can be used for other things like parts or whatever. But we send the engines to foundry.
Okay, thank you.
Amazing. Any other questions? Okay, I saw that there's 2 questions in the chat. How do you decide to run for it, seeing that Titan like Tesla could be your competitor? I think it's a matter of understanding market. So Tesla is focusing on developed countries, and their cars are quite expensive for developing countries, like a $30,000 car, which is the cheapest car of Tesla, is quite expensive for our countries. So our solution focuses on a different target market. And actually, from a business perspective, if we grow enough in the next 5 to 10 years, probably a car maker like Tesla could buy the solution that we have to penetrate the market. So even though we're competitors, we're focusing on different segments of the population. So in that way, we're not direct competitors. And I am not an expert in mechanical engineering, not an electric engineer. I'm actually studying business administration. So I connected with someone that is electrical engineer, and we created the company together. And also connect to Ivan's questions before. It's about understanding the multidisciplinary and the interdisciplinary skills that we need to have to be able to work together. Yeah, there's someone with the hand raised.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you so much, Mr. Federico, for such an amazing presentation. Meda from Uganda. I'm one of the Popute mentors and general coordinator for Hitachi Africa. So basically what I would like to do is commend your work and your project that is ongoing. It really looks good. Honestly, me, I'm more of into public service and people involvement. So the fact that you do have the ability to invent such great things, geez, really looks amazing and sounds good. Though I haven't really seen much of the work you've been doing, but from what I've heard, it really sounds amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah. I don't know how to work, but as I mentioned, once you focus on the problem, you just look for a lot of different ways to solve that problem. Amazing. Risha, I think that's it.
Thank you, Frederick, for answering all the questions. Uh, I don't think that we have any more questions now. So thank you so much. And really, your presentation covered a lot of things. How systematically, you can cover um, all the points when you are creating your pitch were very well highlighted in your presentation. I think that was a very great learning for us as well. So thank you so much for joining us today. And one of our pop mentors is also from Colombia, and I think he did mention it, but he's not on the call now. So we hope that we are able to take out time some other time and are able to introduce both of you. And because he's also a young innovator working with pop and a lot of things. So maybe with your other program, it can be of some benefit to him as well. So thank you so much once again, and we'll stay connected um, to learn more from you.
Of course. Thanks a lot for inviting me and having me. And yeah, looking forward to that. Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you, Frederick. Now I will ask Kevin to please take on and carry on with his presentation.
Thank you very much. Can you allow me to share, please?
Sure.
You can now share, Kevin.
Thank you. So, as we had the last time we were together, we talked about this idea of project regarding an issue that we all together decided was important. The issue is deleting emails, because if we don't delete emails, it consumes a lot of energy and it translates into carbon footprint. So last time we had this, we asked everyone how many emails they deleted in one day, and in total it's more than 5,000 emails. So the question right now, if you may type on the chat, how many emails in this last week have you deleted? So that we can actually measure and continue with the measuring impact. And then the thing that what's important to do today is to understand the steps that we are focusing in this at the moment. So last time we split in two groups. We make two breakout rooms, and we make you try to understand what was the issue and to try to come up with a solution. So in the two groups, you came up with two different solutions. Actually, were like three. So one of them was to let everyone know about the issue by campaigns and everything. It was Ivan's group, but there was also the other group that came up with two solutions. One was making emails delete automatically after some days that you decided not to keep them, and the second one was to track subscriptions in order to erase them. But as you may see from Federico's presentation, there's a lot of solutions that you actually make the tree of problems. You can figure out that there are plenty of solutions, but you need to focus on a specific one. As he said, he made his research and figure out that focusing on 3% of the cars, it will make a bigger impact. So the same type of solution you need to come up by prioritizing the opportunities and the solutions that we're going to focus. So the idea now is to discuss. I will let you talk about it, the ones who are on right now connected in this Zoom, to discuss which of the three is going to be the ideal solution. And if you don't know the solution because you don't have the information, what will you do in order to get this information in order to come up with a solution? Trisha, can we give them how many minutes can we give them in order to do this activity?
We can easily give them 10 minutes. Will that be okay?
Yes, perfect. So please, in these 10 minutes, please try to come up with this ideal solution for the first step of the project. Eventually, you can make all the three, but you need to prioritize. The energy, resources, everything is better to be focused. And if you don't know what will be the ideal solution because you don't have all information, you need to come up with the next steps in order to research so you get the ideal solution. So please go ahead. I'll close my microphone. If you have any questions, if you didn't understand, please let me know.
So do I need to send them to breakout room? No?
How many people are we right now? We're 8.
We are 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's good because we can split in 2, 4 and 4.
Okay. Sam, you can join the breakout room 1. I've sent you the request.
So everyone, how was on the other group? I hope you managed to get to a solution or to look for the solution. So please let me know. Who wants to start from the other group?
I don't know if Diego or Sam, would you like to present our discussion results?
Samuel, would you like to go ahead?
I think Ayo just called me. I don't know. Let me share the link with you.
Okay, then I can present. So we were discussing that on one hand, it is important to consider the different like scenarios and the difference from one sector of the population to other. So this led us to different approaches. One is to track and help to unsubscribe from emails, which are usually the ones that are the most of the content in our emails are like subscription and on-personal emails. So one way is to focus on them. And the other way, well, it will be either to ask the companies, the big companies, let's say Google, to give us with this tool. So speaking of the three, then speaking of the three solutions, in this case, maybe talking to people and trying people to realize about this issue and asking them to make this behavioral change, as Federico was saying, it can be quite hard. And also because that is a kind of work with no end. So we decided that it's better, like in a perspective of time and resources, not to focus like on telling people and not focusing on tracking like specifically some kind of, well, one will be tracking some kind of emails, but the other will be to delete them automatically, the ones that are not marked. And so this could be done either by the companies itself, Google, let's say, that they put this, that some, I don't know, people could put in either 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, etc., the amount of time that they want the emails to be deleted. And that is going to happen unless they put that mark, right? And so it could be either by them or by an extension who DA and Sam were saying. The extension could be also quite easy to do. It's not something like too difficult. So this could be like the option that we were thinking to be the most like time-wise and resource-wise effective.
I think we lost Kevin in between. He's just joining.
Yes. Meanwhile, I don't know if someone from the other team would like to present.
So hi everyone. In my team I was with Kevin. So basically while we're looking at the problem at hand, we had to put certain factors into consideration. For example, honestly, the whole idea of emails being one of the cause or the reason as to why there is emission of carbon into the atmosphere, I really didn't know about it, and I really do believe so many other people didn't know. So it can't be as our colleagues the other side talked about it. It really can't be a project that you will take on as an independent project. But then we picked on creating awareness. While we're choosing on creating awareness, we had to choose the age group. Okay, earlier on, we're looking at institutions. Should we do primary, secondary, or university? We realize it's no longer about the institutions because it's an age group of people that choose it. If we focus on institutions, then we shall probably close out a specific group of people. So we decided to leave an age group. We left it open. So we are focusing on the age group of 13 to 35 because this is active working class, and this is an energetic team of people that are actually so up to learn and probably share knowledge as well. So the thing is, we are looking at training of the trainees, something like that, whereby it's not, I don't training of the trainees, okay, like teaching a group of people who go and spread word to others. For example, if we teach these people, they can go and share word with their parents, they can share word with their other peers who want to attend the programs or something like that. And then once awareness has been created, because honestly, someone is not going to feel good, their emails being deleted after 10 days, yet they don't know what is happening. Like, what is happening? They really don't understand what is going on. Someone wouldn't go ahead and delete emails. Honestly, I wasn't going to delete an email if I didn't know what exactly is happening. So it's good for people to know, those who will be able to hear and take action or understand why certain changes are made. Then the idea that would want to match up with this would be, which we are going to research upon, is the idea of the app that could be used or sold to the different servers, Gmail, etc., Outlook, Yahoo, etc., that actually would enable deleting of the emails after a certain period of time. Yeah, that's what we had.
Okay, great. As before I left because of electricity issues, I heard, Ivan, that the proposal of the other group was to focus on the on subscriptions. Making, if am I okay?
Yes, focusing on subscriptions and on deleting the emails automatically.
Okay, so there's two. Okay, so that solution came up with the same two solutions, and in them on the group from where we were, Mira and I, were also focusing on deleting the emails automatically and making awareness. So we didn't find out, actually, we didn't come up as a group with the ideal solution. So next step would be to figure out which is the ideal solution. So there's one way, it's called MVP, minimal viable product. So we need to try out to see which is the ideal solution for the audience, which is resource efficiency, which is in time, is also easier to implement it. And one way we could do it is by making a survey in order to let everyone know about the issue, but also to let them participate on the decision making on which will be the ideal solution. So that will be, I'm going to share again my screen, if you could. Can you give me permission to share, please?
I can. Do you have permission now?
Yes, I have now. Thanks. So now we're going to have a homework for next week. So here are the steps. Remember when Ivan and I, as Resilience 2020, we show the steps that we were making in order to come up with a biodigester. We came up with these steps. So it's opportunity for innovation, prioritize opportunities. So from all kind of biodigester, we pick up one that wasn't on the market and no one was focusing, but people needed. And then we test the potential solution. So now we were supposed to come up with the solution number 2, which prioritize opportunities, but we didn't come up with a real solution. One that would pick and would make all the resources will focus on that one. Probably because it could be a mix of 2, or probably it needs to be a mix of 3, but that we need to figure out. So the way to do it is by making the community participate. So we can mix this somehow, the number 2 and number 3, which is test your potential innovation, by trying to make them participate in development the MVP. So in this case, an MVP not necessarily need to be an app. It could be even a Google Docs or some spreadsheet where people actually could put their information, how are they're delivering, and all their processes. Probably that would be tedious. So we need to make come up with an MVP that would be ideal for them. So my proposal for you is to, as a homework for next week, to make a survey. As a committee, we can make a survey and try to make all POP members participate in developing come up with the ideal solution for this project. Telling them the issue and telling them the 3 possibilities, and so they pick up, and probably there will be a 4th solution. So that will be my proposal, and obviously a homework. If you agree, please let me know.
Thank you, Kevin. We have Ayobami from Nigeria, who has just joined us. I think there was some
perfect
issue with the network, so he was not able to join us then. So I would like to invite him now to please come and make a presentation. He's a young dynamic tech entrepreneur with penchant for innovation. He's the founder of Synot Technology, a clean energy technology company dedicated to solving energy poverty in Africa through rendering unbeatable solar solutions services for micro and mini grid. He's been producing affordable quality local inverters, advancing on innovation, creativity, researches, and training on various clean energy technology that provides solutions to energy challenges and climate change in Africa. He holds both bachelor's and master's degree in electronics engineering from Federal University of Technology, Nigeria. He has trained over 2,000 young people in Nigeria on solar innovation, and he is devoted towards the cause. I would like to invite Ayobami now. Ayobami, can you hear us? Ayobami, can you hear us? Ayobami, can you hear us? I don't know. I think he's not able to hear us. I would take a moment and would call him. Just a second.
Okay. Ayobami, can you hear us now?
Ayobami, can you hear us now? I think you just joined.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry
we can
for, yes. So sorry for the network and everything. All right.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so my name is Ayo. So I don't know how many minutes do I have for my presentation?
Please go ahead. There's no time limit. You can have as much time as you want. Thank you.
Oh, all right. So thank you. All right. So I want to talk about the technology part of the how technology we can use it to solve the problem of climate change, mostly in the world. What we have been doing in maybe as senior technologies, we are trying to focusing on the generation part. When we're talking about the generation of the we are trying to focus on how we can generate affordable inverters for people over the Nigeria. In Nigeria, that was a data that says that how much the government earn by importing generators. And in fuel and oil is it's one of the oil is one of the government ways of making money. So they don't want to anything that will make them not to sell petrol or to sell any of these things. They will not encourage it. So we look for means of, so in Nigeria now, over 40 million houses in Nigeria don't have access to stable electricity. We are looking for means of how can we, and most people use generators. So using generators, talking about air pollution, we're talking about talking about air pollution, talking about noise pollution. We have seen a situation that the carbon monoxide from the generator killed a whole family because they don't want them to steal their generators. They try to put their generator in their room, and because they were not aware of the danger, and the next day all of them died. Even not one occasion. So some of those challenges Nigeria is facing, everybody need electricity. So, and how can we make this electricity more affordable for them? So after we've considered that some of the things we can do to make sure that at least this product is more affordable for them. So we are trying to design our inverter locally. So we make a local inverter solution, a local inverter for them. So, and then we package it so that it can be more affordable for them. So the goal is that so that we can discourage most of them using generators. So if average, most of them is not using generators, so the rate of pollution, air pollution coming from generators, and at least it will be able to reduce. So that is the one aspect of at which we have been able to come, so that average Nigerians can generate their life independently using solar innovation. So, and so that some of these components can be affordable by them. Some of them will say, oh, we need this product, we need this solar, but we could not afford it. There's a mean, okay, everybody needs it, but not everyone can afford it. So we are trying to make this product more affordable for them. And that is what we are working on our solution and that. So we are creating. So then another thing we are doing now is to create an opportunity for the youth. So we are able to partner with a National Youth Service Corps, one of the states we are, so to train youth. So we have trained youth. We also train with you, partner with universities. Aside, if we are looking at ways to save our planet, if you are looking at ways to save, the planet, awareness. Most people do not aware the importance of what they are doing, their habits. You just see people going to the forest, cutting the trees anyhow. Their goal is that, yes, I want to cut this tree so that I can cut it and make money and sell it and make money. They don't really have the future plan for it. So that those people that are using alternative source of energy too, like all these generators, they don't know the importance of those things they are releasing to environment. And if you can enlighten more people. So we partner with schools, we partner with Federal University of Technology, Akure, the engineering students, training them how to make solar lamp. We believe that it can go a long way in encourage people on this solar. So we train them how to make solar. So we are trying to teach them how to make solar systems. And averagely, so most of them, we have trained over 2,000 in partner with the NYS that we train them how to make solar innovation. And most of them, they have this understanding that, instead of me buying generators, I'll prefer to get a solar inverter so that at least it's not for me to enjoy the light. Please, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So it's not for me just to enjoy my energy generation by myself, but I have to put in consideration my environment. What is the effect on my environment? What is the effect of the noise, of the effect of the pollution of the environment? So most of them prefer that, if I can design this thing by myself, so I can actually generate it myself, get the components and assemble it. And we see that it's working. Most of them, they are, instead of buying some of those things, that is work because they have the understanding on. So we are trying to make awareness. So another aspect that we are doing, we personally, we're trying to do is aspect of the energy optimization. Technology can actually, that will be because of increase, IoT devices. There are billions of devices, wearable IoT devices in the world now. In the future, energy demand will increase. And if as CEO, at the current climate change conference, they are looking for means of, decreasing the rate of energy demand. So looking at the transportation, finding means of, which is the highest of pollution and industry. We're talking about industry 4.0 now, means of using a sustainable way of in some of their distance. So we are looking at means of creating an energy optimization device, in the sense that if everybody can optimize the rate at which they use their power, their energy, at least it can also go a long way in reducing the energy demand. So we looking for means at which people can. So we started with the manual way, manual awareness. We have started with the manual awareness. You see people turning on their bulb in the afternoon. Actually, they don't need it. What most of them they are not aware, because it's not yet controlled. So many of them, they are not aware, probably because it's not this thing that since and I can pay for it, so I can use it anyhow. No, that is not. So we tend to encourage them that in Africa, we should focus more on, since we are not generating much, there should be means of we optimize, we maximize what we are generating. So optimization is also one of the key that we are looking to. Currently, I'm also a PhD student in FUTA. I did not put that. So I'm trying to, my whole research work is creating an optimization device, probably using artificial intelligence and some of other things at which, so that it can aid energy optimization. So if we are not generating much, we can also as well maximize what we are using. So we started with physical awareness, and the physical awareness that we are trying to tell people that, oh, you don't need to turn on your bulb in the afternoon. Turn it off. It reduces, as well as if you are not using anything in the afternoon, your security light, can you please turn it off? Oh, if you are not, some of them will say, oh, we have to leave it. We have to leave it so that we can know if there is light. People can know that if there is light. I say, no, that is not the way to do things. So some of them, they say, oh, they put some energy, most of the devices they are using is more energy consuming. I know, and I've said that, some of the, in Africa, mostly in Nigeria, we like to buy all this tokumbo. Tokumbo means all these old imported electronic devices. And most of them, they don't know the importer. Most of them, and they have turned us to a dump site. In the developed countries, most of them, they are not using all these highly consuming devices again. But they brought them back to Africa. And in Africa, we are not generating much. And you see people, it's because it's cheap. It's cheap. Probably you went to go and buy a freezer that is 1,005 kilowatts, in consumption. You have to, but if you are to get an average of 4,000, 400 watts, that will do the same thing. You can save enough energy. So we are trying to educate them about the devices they are using, that they should try to use energy saving device, talking about energy saving AC, energy saving, hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So we are trying to look for, means of, encouraging in energy ACs, energy saving bulb. Well, that one is even common now in Nigeria, talking about LED bulb. LED bulb doesn't consume much than incandescent bulb. So we even means of we saving, optimizing the energy in the aspect is we getting, energy saving devices. And if all these energy saving devices they were there, if the demand of energy will definitely reduce. So demand of energy will definitely reduce. So we are trying to look for means. Okay, we are trying to look for that manner with creating awareness that if we are trying to save our planet, if you are trying to reduce pollutions, if you are trying to make sure that we overcome climate challenges. So they are trying to little things matters. So if you can save your energy, if you can save, definitely that the demand will be low. So that's why the physical awareness now, most people they are actually yielding to it. And most people that are actually yielding to it, which is with the little things we can do in our own environment. So then another thing we do, like most people don't yield to it. So we are trying to develop a technology, an IoT device, or an IoT device that can, in the aspect of home automation, smart devices. It knows when to turn on your bulb. So in the afternoon, probably we develop a light sensor that can monitor the darkness, the illumination. It knows that, in a particular time, you are going to need a bulb. It turns it on automatically. So you turn it on automatically, and this has been involved in developed countries, but in Nigeria, because of the challenges of energy, power of stable electricity is not really common. So, but with the aspect of using automation also, it will also help in reduction in energy demand and in energy aspect, in energy demand. So these are the things we've been doing. So in the aspect of the automation, that these things work by itself. So you know when to switch off the TV. We know when to switch off the TV. When you switch off, to probably the device is plugged. It monitor the range at which your consumption. You can switch off your AC when the room temperature is okay. You can switch up your TV. You can switch off when you don't need it. Probably someone is not in the room. Someone is not in the room. It monitors everything with the aspect of presence sensors. It switch it off when you need everything. So it do that automatically. So that one, we also believe that with that one, energy demand will also drastically reduce. So that is also the aspect at which technology can, with the using of IoT, it can also reduce the rate at which energy, the energy consumption. So also the aspect of, even aside the energy consumption, the aspect of water, there's rate of, in some aspect of Nigeria, for example, some people don't experience lack of water, drought. But talking about those in the Sahel region of, some of them experience, drought. Some of their animals, they could not even, in the news, international news this time, they could not drink, some of their water could not see water to drink. You see people dying, the animals dying because of lack of water. So, if that could also be a development of a technology that could be able to solve that, adequate water optimization, when the water can be easily optimized, when we can have adequate water storage, we can, even in the aspect of irrigation, that the IoT can actually help, technology can actually help. Okay, I need to, turn on the pump by this time. Probably after measuring the soil temperature, the soil moisture and everything, when to do the irrigation. When we can automate the irrigation for agricultural farming, definitely it will save the water. Not that, you just do it manually and a lot of water is wasted and that. So we can see that we can also use an IoT also to actually also optimize the effect of how water is being wasted, in some of this region that actually really need it. So if it's actually well controlled, some of these resources that we said is not enough can actually be what, if it actually well maximized, can actually be enough for what we want to do. And also in the aspect of the energy, in the aspect of solar system, we have discovered with our experience that most devices that generate it consume energy a lot. Some of the devices, some of the appliances that generate it consume energies a lot. No, if I don't need to say I want to boil. We are trying to, the technology is trying to look for means of converting some of the, if you see a data centers now, a data centers actually generates a lot of heat, using, and they use water to cool it. Why can't they use that water to supply hot water to some of the cities that are needing it? So, and some of the technology that's actually involving that. So I don't need to use water heater when I have access, probably when I've been supplying hot water already. So definitely such also reduce the rate of energy consumption. So I think these are the things we will be able to, we are doing, we are also being able to do, and also to be able to carry everything along. When I was speaking at the knowledge event, of African Development Bank last year, about the youth engagement in the, in green innovations, I was telling them, number one is begin with me. I have to take responsibilities. Me, I understand the effect of all these things, but what am I doing about it? Which awareness? Some people don't actually know. Some people don't really know some of these things. They don't know the way they can save the energy. Some people don't know what's the effect of this. Pollutions on their environment. But if I can take it, I can start telling people around me to understand their awareness. They take conscious effort towards it. So then also, aside even that, engaging the youth. When we are engaging the youth, many of them don't have their understanding of this, and they are doing it ignorantly. Some of them are doing it, some of them are engaging. So when we engage the youth in the aspect of taking responsibility by it, in the aspect of awareness, in the aspect of extending the technical know-how or how this thing works. It can also help, to actually save our planet and also to help us in the aspect of it. So this is the little presentation I have about the technology and how we can use it to be able to save the climate change. And thank you.
Thank you, Ayobami. I would like to ask you, do you have any link, specifically talking about your project, or do you have any presentation that you would like to share with us in form of slides or something?
Yes, okay, about the project. Yes, I have. What we've been doing. We can have. Let me just share a website. Let me just share our website and maybe just read the news. That's www.synod.ng /news.
Are you typing it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've sent it to the chat.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yes.
I think it was a very, very important and great presentation. I would like to ask if any of the participant has any questions specifically for Ayobami and related to his project. Okay, maybe we don't have any questions, but I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you, Ayobami, to Samuel, who is a pop youth mentor and is very much leading the Pop Nigeria initiative in Nigeria. He's been working closely with schools and talking about climate literacy, creating awareness and advocacy. So, Samuel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Would you
Hello,
like
Ayo.
in a minute or so tell Ayobami more about your project?
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Hello, Ayo. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yes, I know we've been in communicating and terms on the first day Ayo was introduced to me via email. So Bob Nigeria initiative is an initiative that is set up to enlighten people, especially those in communities and secondary schools, about climate change impacts and also educate them on mitigative, on an adaptive and mitigative approach to tackle climate change impacts and possible ways of transition. So we've worked with institutions, we've worked with the National Youth Service, that is the NYSC. We've also worked with international organizations and even with the Federal Ministry of Environment here in Nigeria to make sure that this project is still alive and active and also is still ongoing. And currently we are focusing on the northern region of Nigeria that's usually with conflict. So we are trying to see how we can be able to use climate leadership as a tool to foster peace in that region. So nice presentation. It was really awesome because even the energy sector cannot be overlooked, as that is also one of the areas I'm keenly interested in terms of looking at green economy transition to achieve net zero carbon. Okay, yeah. So thank you so much for the presentation. And yes, I'm looking forward to more engagements with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. Nice meeting you again.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ayobami. Do we have any questions?
Actually, there is a question I have Well, I wanted to ask Ayo personally, but let me just straight up here if it's possible for Ayo to answer straight up here. You know, when you're looking at energy supply in Nigeria and also accessibility, okay, is something that not all regions benefit from and not all regions have access to. Looking at, let me use, for instance, the northern region of Nigeria, there are some regions that haven't seen light for more than 1 year, some for 10 years. But my interest may shift from that place to companies and industry who are major users and dependent on energy. Is there anything that your company is doing to make sure that companies, industries that consume this high voltage of energy become more sustainable and they go into low emission rates at which they use their energy? Because if you're looking at the energy gap reports or emission gap reports rather, you will see that most of the emission is as a result of energy, which you look at heat and transportation. Okay, so how is there anything your organization is doing? Because I know when you look at solar, okay, for companies, it's not all companies that can actually depend solely on solar unless they have this strong um, strong strong effect of heat in that region. And regions that can use solar more, you look at the northern region of Nigeria, which at least we know how the heat is often there. And then also look at wind as well as another source of energy. Not all regions too benefit that. So is there anything sustainable that your organization is doing in terms of upscaling the energy use for companies and industries to be more sustainable? Or is there the low option for those companies through your mechanisms?
All right, thank you, Samuel. Like you said, the northern region of Nigeria, when we talk about zero emission power generation, that's different zero emission power generations that are, e.g. now hydro power generation. So, and we see that this looking at Niger State, for example, some of these Kainji Dam, one of the challenges of hydro power generation, because sometimes in the dry season, the water level is always low. That's why I was also talking about, maximizing water consumptions. If a water consumption is actually maximized, sometimes hydro will fit very perfect for such kind of region. Hydro will fit very perfect for such kind of region. Another thing we are also proposing, if you look at the industry, one of the resolution of Industry 4.0 is that some of these their old machines consumes a lot. They are trying to look for means of finding means of upgrading some of these machines that will not consume, and that they will still do a very perfect work. So what we are trying to also do, in our own capacity is, trying to, create awareness about this. Let's assume a machine is consuming, let's assume like you have a machine that is consuming, let's say 40,000 kilowatts for a particular operation. But there is a new innovation that has reduced the rate of that consumption to, let's say, like 15,000 kilowatts. What you go for, because actually if you think that, because that one is cheaper, even the one that is always consumed, it will be more cheaper. Why can't you go for the new one? Because if you go by that highest consumption, if you don't even pay the rate of the money on the machine, you will pay it on your energy usage. You are going to pay the money on the energy usage. So that is one of the things that we are doing. So one of the sustainable things to power some of these industries is hydropower stations. Like Nigeria now, if Nigeria can be serious with the Kanji Dam, extend more and hydropower stations, extend more. And sincerely, it's going to be more sustainable. So that, in the afternoon, it cannot be an hybrid. It cannot be an hybrid microgrid that in the afternoon, maybe in the afternoon, the industry will be powered. If you even look at energy demand, when we are talking about energy demand, load demand, energy demand, in Nigeria particularly, probably in the other part of the country, for residential and for commercial. For residential, the energy demand, there are more energy demand probably at the closing hour of the night. Probably when everybody is returning from the work, let's say any moment from 4, probably to 9 p.m., there will be more energy demand. Then also, any moment from maybe 4 a.m. to 7 a.m., there will be another energy demand. Those are the way, if there can be a means of augmentations that we can look, but during the day, for the commercial side, the industry side, the energy demand will be more on, during maybe the hours from 8 to the time that people will be working. So that should be, an adequate way of doing a kind of a load shedding. If to meet those demands, even for the residential in the night and for the industry in the day. And that is why solar can power during the day. So, and the essence of the solar, I've seen China installing solars, countries installing solars on the water, on the sea. People don't want to, part of it now, we don't want to waste, the farm, the land that's supposed to be for agricultural purposes. It should not be used maybe to now be used for solar farm, solar systems. You can actually maximize our land by actually installing all these solar panels on waters, on seas. These can also help us to actually maximize these things. So the aspect of that, so the industry can be powered. And now, until one of the things the Nigeria can do to make microgrid sustainable. I was part of AfriLab, is a program organized by CTCN and CSTAR last year. So I was part of the people that gave them a problem statement about, what they, one of our group, we are trying to create a community microgrids. Let's decentralize these things. Let's decentralize the power solutions. Let's know that in a particular community, what is the rate of their load demands? If I am staying in a particular section of a community, and they were able to know that, this is my energy demand, then we can now create a microgrid, a solar microgrid that can serve that community alone. So when this BT is serving the community, so you cannot create different microgrid across the stations. Instead of you centralizing the power, in Nigeria, we are still using the centralizing power. So that's why you see sometimes is not yet enough and is not yet equally distributed. But if every community is generating their own power, organized, it will be more effective. And you will see that we will solve these energy challenges, particularly in Nigeria. And people will be able to subscribe, probably using prepaid and all those things to subscribe. But it is going to be based on, I believe that prototype was launched in Ogun State, in Nigeria, maybe around last year, that a particular community were able to create for them a microgrid, a mini grid for them to be able to use, instead of them running wire from the substation down to their place. So at least that's the best way we can so thank you. I don't know, Samuel, having any questions?
Okay, yes, I have one more question. So sorry for asking more questions, because when it comes to energy transition, it's something that I am also keen about, not just in Nigeria, but the world at large. I want to know what is the duration of a solar system. Like I know they have this installing of solar panels. I don't know how, but the bigger one they use for houses, like what is the duration and what capacity can it carry? Because when I hear about solar, I engaged in a discussion with someone that spoke about solar, and we end up realizing among ourselves that even solar is not sufficient as it should be for industries. Probably the only way companies or industry dive into solar is to just give them light, but not carrying those heavy loads. So I want to know actually if this impression is wrong. What capacity is the solar and how long can it last? And you also know that these energies are also cost intensive. Okay, please. Sorry for the too much questions.
Thank you,
Hello, can you
Sam.
hear me? Hello?
Okay, yeah. Yes,
All
please
right.
go ahead, Ayo.
Okay, the number one is when it comes to these solar systems, it has different components, and those components have their durations. Number one, you talk about solar panel. The average lifespan of a solar panel is 25 years. The average lifespan, that is an average. It can last longer than that. And in some developed countries, they are trying to adopt a solar roof. Instead of hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Yes. So, and people are going to that. Instead of me using a conventional roof, can I use a solar panel and generate light through my roof? That's an app. So the solar panels and the solar panel give you a DC energy. So the next thing is the storage. One of the most expensive part of the solar system is the storage. The storage, which is the battery. So the battery is highly expensive. That's one of the things. And average lifespan of the battery at times, let's say, like 4 to 5 years. So compared to that, so which means that if we are doing a battery, so that it will require a maintenance between that time. Then also we are talking about the inverters. There is nothing you cannot use solar system for. Somewhere, it depends on the ratings. There is nothing. The industries that are even using it now. Probably is maybe the system that you have seen. We have heavy duty inverters. We have the way we have heavy duty generators that can drive anything. So it depends on the ratings. We have some for residential purpose. We have residential purpose special inverters. Then we also have a grid inverters. Grid inverters is specifically make for, you can supply the whole community. Definitely can also power all this. So we could also have the inverter. So these are the basic components that complain. So to say maybe solar panels, inverter is not, probably they don't have enough. But one of the things that solar system does, like most of the things that most people, they are thinking that it doesn't actually really work, is because they don't have the understanding of design calculations. If someone wanted to install a solar now, I could remember in Nigeria, they would say, oh, if you are in 2-bedroom flat, the solar brings so amount. If you are having 3-bedroom flat, I want to say, wow, I want to for 3-bed. You don't install such device for bedroom flat. You use the load you want to use it to calculate. The load, you can have a room that have heavy load, and you can have a building that doesn't. So you don't the installation required is not even by the size of the house or the size of the company, but by the rate of the load. So if it's actually designed based on the load requirement, definitely it will last and it will be sustainable. One of the things that they can just change probably is the battery maintenance every time, and it can actually work for them. But for every for every the industries, but they have to install more on panels, which advisedly now in Nigeria is very, very expensive. Solar panel is very expensive in Nigeria. So if a company is actually delving into that, it might be at very cost for them. But in other countries, they are using it. Some industries are using it in US. They are solely depending on what? On zero emission power generation system. So to say probably is actually sustainable in Nigeria, the capacity depends. So what your system will carry will be determined by probably the inverter that you installed. The duration that it will use. The duration that it will use is determined by the batteries that you have installed. The solar panel is just there. You can install solar panels either to charge the battery and use the battery in the night. You can also install plenty solar panels either to charge. It will also charge the battery at the same time you'll be using it. So during the day, during the night, energy stored on the battery will now be used in the night. So, and there are some active solar panels that you don't need, they call it photovoltaic cells. Photo means light. It shows that as day break, solar panel will start working. But heat, sun generates both light and heat. The excitement of those electrons are much when there is heat. So, but the light, so far, solar panel will not work during the night. It's not true. When there is no sun, it's not true. It will still give you what you need to give, but it will not be as effective as when there is sun, because the sun generates both light and heat. Solar panel work with light. Once there is daybreak, current, you start generating the current. The cell will start generating the current. But when there is heat, the excitement of those current will be more like that. So those are the things I believe I want to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayobami, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We crossed the time limit today, but the presentation and the discussion is what we are aiming at, and that is why the conclave exists. So we'll meet you next week on the next Friday with more facilitators to talk about information technology. So till then, take care and we'll meet soon. And thank you once again, Ayobami, for taking out time today and giving us your precious hours. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Drisha.